Hey, this is Rustin Rose with Metalholic Magazine and Mojo Radio, and with me, Tim Sult of Clutch. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely wonderful. You guys are in Seattle tonight, I believe, right?
Yes, we are in Seattle with Motorhead.
Motorhead, yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You guys are doing the tour with Motorhead right now. Motorhead and Clutch is sort of an intriguing combination. How'd that come about?
Well, Motorhead has taken us out on tour before. We went out with them in 2006. I think they're just fans of the band, you know? They're fans of rock and roll, heavy music, and they have good taste in music, so they brought us out on the road twice so far.
You guys are also going overseas. You playing the Download Festival in 2011. I think this is your third time. You were there in 2006 and 2009?
Yes, this is actually our third time at the Download Festival.
You guys are also going to be doing Sweden rock over in Europe while you're over there for Download. Now, does the band change its approach when you guys are playing a festival versus small club dates?
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not going to go out and play a festival, a 45-minute festival show and play, 3 or 4 extended jams.
Right.
We'll kind of trim the fat a little bit more for a festival show because, most of the people there haven't seen us and, we don't want to confuse them by playing too many odd time songs with weird jams in them, We just kind of keep it a little bit more straightforward for the festivals and save the weird stuff for Clutch headlining shows,
Right. And I for your guys' sound, the style of rock that you guys play, it seems like it's more conducive to a club atmosphere anyway.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean, do you have a preference?
I'm really too close to the music, I guess. I love playing for tons of people who have never heard of us, and I love playing small shows for diehard fans. It's all really fun to me. I have no preference.
As long as you're on the stage with your guitar, right?
Exactly. I mean, our music is going to sound like our music no matter where we are or how many people are standing in front of us, It's always all about the music instead of the crowd.
Right. Well, you guys have been doing this for 2 decades now. How do you feel the band's sound and attitudes have evolved in that time?
Our sound, I guess, became a little more groove-oriented. And, I don't know, when we started out, we were a little heavier, not necessarily heavier, but a little bit more abrasive in our approach to songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And as we started touring more, we got bored with our songs and would end up putting jams in them and just kind of make them a little more fun to play. And I think over the years, well, at least for the first few years of the band and our first few years touring, that's where really the whole thing started to develop, just with the fact that, we were bored with playing our songs and we tried to expand on them and make them something a little bit different. And I honestly don't remember the question. What was the question again?
We were talking about how you've evolved as a band in terms of your sound. And what about your attitudes? I mean, obviously 20 years ago, we were all much of a different mind frame, but as we grow up, we gain some wisdom. How do you think you guys have changed overall as people and how you brought that into your music?
Well, I don't know. It's just, I think I may be still a little bit too close to the whole thing to kind of step back and look at it like that. We're just too busy doing it and working on new material and trying to keep the band going and progressing,
right? Playing
shows and having fun. I really haven't. I guess I have, but I just kind of feel uncomfortable, with trying to analyze it that much,
right.
I really feel like I haven't changed as a person. I feel like, to me, it's always a new beginning as far as the band goes. It feels like it's always new. It's not something that's old, and I don't really know what I'm getting at, but for me personally, it doesn't feel like it's been long enough to look back and reflect in that way.
So you got another couple decades in you, is what you're saying?
That's what I think. I mean, I like to pretend every album that comes out, I like to pretend that everything else we put out before that was just a demo and this was the first real album. You know what I mean?
Right.
It always feels like it's a new thing and, I don't know. That was a terrible answer.
Okay, so, it was a nice segue, if nothing else, right? Next month, you guys are going to be releasing a 2-disc reissue of Blast Tyrant with a bonus disc called Basket of Eggs, I believe. What's that all about, and what can fans expect from it?
Blast Tyrant is one of our albums that has come out this century that we're re-releasing. We put out 3 albums on a label called DRT Records.
Right.
And we ended up getting the rights to those albums back. And so we've slowly been putting out those 3 albums as reissues with some extra bonus stuff on it. But this one, what is this one? Blast Tyrant is the last one that is coming out. And this is the first one of those reissues that we actually went into the studio to record some new stuff for it. We recorded, last summer we were doing a Clutch instrumental set where we were working up, acoustic set where we were working up acoustic versions of several of the old songs. And the plan originally was to release an all-acoustic album with a bunch of old reworked Clutch songs and some newer material. So we just decided to scrap that whole thing, and we recorded it, and it's going to come out. A lot of the songs will be part of the bonus disc there. That's about half the bonus disc. The other half of the bonus disc is demo versions of those old songs with completely different lyrics.
You're going to be releasing this on your own Weathermaker label now. I know you were talking, you did the 3 albums with DRT before. You started your own label after that. What prompted you guys to take on the headache of running your own label?
We decided that we would not make it a headache for ourselves and just hire somebody else to do it. So we were lucky enough to be in a position to be able to hire somebody to run the label for us and actually make an honest attempt at running our own label. And luckily that's been working out pretty decent so far, I think.
How has the viral nature of music and illegal downloading impacted you guys, especially with having your own label?
Honestly, as far as CD sales go, that's always where we've made, or just bands in general, that's where they make the least amount of money. The money comes from playing shows and selling merch. The real money does anyway, you know?
Mm-hmm.
As far as the whole illegal downloading thing goes, I see it as an advertisement for the band. You know, I mean, it doesn't bother me that people are going to go listen to it online. I like it, you know? It honestly seems like the less albums that we do actually sell, the more people that come to our shows. That makes no sense whatsoever, but that's actually just the way it is these days.
So it's almost like bands should be like, we'll give the music away. Just come see us, buy our T-shirts, and support the band that way.
And quite honestly, I would not be surprised if that's the way the music industry ended up being in 15 or 20 years from now.
Is that the solution in your mind for how to handle it?
I mean, no, not necessarily. There's going to always be people that are going to want, you know, like a double vinyl version of that album, or there's always going to be people that want the artwork.
Right.
You know, I don't think that's ever going to go away, but there's always going to be the massive amounts of people that'll just pick it up for free, and that's the way it is, you know? Right. I mean, I can't do anything about that. No way to fight it at this point.
Well, and you and I grew up in that era where there was just something exciting about having a tangible album in your hand where you could flip the album cover over and look at the artwork and read everything on it.
When I think about something like that, yeah, that's true. But if I were a kid these days, I would just be downloading everything and anything possible.
Right.
Like when I was younger, I had to save up and make a Christmas list and, you know, ask my parents for CDs and tapes if I wanted to hear them, you know? If I wanted to hear Slayer, I had to ask my parents for a tape. I didn't have any money to buy a Slayer tape when I was a little kid. But now these days, a kid can listen to every Slayer album at the touch of a button. It was more special for us, you know, getting an album and being able to listen to it because we just didn't have that as much music at our fingertips to listen to. I remember being a kid and when I was really young, having to, like, ask my parents really, really nicely to buy me albums. Nowadays, any kid can get any album they want by pressing enter. I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse, but I know that we have a lot more younger people that are into rock music that come to our